Hello and welcome to the live stream live. It is me, Joshua Schubart. I hope you are having a wonderful Tuesday, New York early evening or afternoon or morning or wherever else you are in the world. If you are watching the replay, thanks so much for watching again. If you are hearing the audio only on the podcast, thanks for listening. As usual, we are live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Yeah, so if you have any comments or if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them or comment about your comment as long as they are appropriate, as per usual. I have a very special guest this evening, and it happens to be her birthday. It is casting director Mia Cusumano, who I've known for, I feel like it's been a decade now or more. It's been a long ass time, which is great. But before we meet her, let us get into what I'm feeling, what I'm watching, and what I'm reading. For those of you who have been on here for a while, you know that I've been working my way through the Dresden Files, and I will very happily tell you that I am now done. And there's a new one coming in January of next year, and I'm very excited. For those of you who don't know what it is an urban fantasy wizard detective novel series. And while that may sound wacky, it is incredibly entertaining and deals with the paranormal hidden in plain sight in Chicago, which is wild. And the main character's name is Harry Dresden, and he is a wizard of the White Council, and he's fun. He eats pizza and has a big gun and also casts magic, and it just makes me feel happy when I read it. And you know, we need some fucking happy feelings now more than ever. I feel, you know, I fucking say that all the time. Now more than ever, we need X, Y, and Z, and it's just been like an explosion of fuckery for like what the past feels like 10 years, but it's only been like 6 months or 4 months or 5 months, however the fucking long it's been. But yeah, so let's get into what I'm watching. Last night I watched Monday Night Raw. I'm super into wrestling again. Me and my wife decided to get back into it over a year ago now. And she always tells me all the time that I need to talk about it on the stream because I shouldn't hide the weird things that I like. And I don't think it's weird. It is the most basic light versus dark thing that exists. It's good guys versus bad guys, and they beat each other up, and it's fun. And also John Cena's on there right now being a total psychopath. And it's the last time that we'll see him because he's retiring. So it's been really, really cool to connect with my wife on a thing that I liked when I was a kid and that she liked when she was in college. Hello everyone saying hello. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your comments. What are you talking about? So I'm going to be talking about TV and film casting this evening, but right now I'm talking about watching the WWE, and then as for scripted shows, what the hell did I just watch? Oh my god, my brain is a mush. Please forgive me. I have 2 kids, 2 young children, and it's awesome, but like my mind goes like sometimes. But what am I watching? Should I just look at what the brain fart? Oh, I'm watching the new season of Rick and Morty. which is great. I love that show, and I have for a long time. Um, oh, I'm watching Somebody Feed Phil, which is not a scripted show, but it is an amazing show. Um, yes, I have I watched Game of Thrones? Yes, I have watched Game of Thrones. That is a also incredible show. Season 8 is kind of it's not that great of a season, I don't think, but we certainly got an ending. If my book becomes a movie or a miniseries, you're playing John Walsh. No arguments. If your book becomes a miniseries, you should hire my next guest to cast it, and then she'll call my agent, and then I'll be be the lead in your show, which would be totally fine. I hope your book gets picked up. How can I help your book get picked up so I can be the lead in it? Let me know. Comment, send me a message. Thank you. Okay, bye. What was I talking about? Um, I was talking about Somebody Feed Phil. So I love this show so much, and if you haven't seen it, you should. So it came out during the pandemic, when my wife was pregnant, and it made us feel so happy, so much so that we went and met Phil at at the Temple Ishmael in New York City when when he was doing like a press tour for season 2 and for his book. And he's just a really cool guy. Like he's that guy on TV in person. And like we met his brother and we met a bunch of the crew. It was a great time. And if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. He's the guy who made Everybody Loves Raymond. And he just eats stuff and he's so happy and he just wants to tell you how happy he is. And it's also a thing where it's like seeing people have real joy is just so great. Like I love Game of Thrones. I love, House of the Dragon. I love a really fucked up drama. Um, but I also really love to feel good. And that's one of the great things about our industry is that um, we get both. We can get the really nitty gritty stuff that makes us think and makes us feel and makes us try to understand things more. And then we get stuff where it's just like a really happy guy eating a sandwich and he wants to share it with you. And that makes you feel involved in somebody's life that maybe you wouldn't have been involved with before. And that makes you feel nice. And maybe you didn't feel nice today and that did. And that's, in my opinion, what's really important about what we do is that we can make you think, we can make you feel nice, we can make you feel welcome, and we can make you feel special. And I think that's fucking great. Um, yeah. So cool. Send it to me, send that shit to me, and I and I will see what can happen. Yeah. So what I'm feeling a lot of stuff. I'm feeling both insanely upset and incredibly hopeful. Um, the like I know everything with Iran and Israel and us has greatly overshadowed the incredible protests that happened just a few weeks ago. It gives me hope because I've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks about how we need to group up again. We need to find our community and we need to let our voices be heard either out in the streets or calling or emailing or tweeting or whatever the fuck it takes for people to be heard. Um, the um, the primary elections in New York City, god damn it, I'm so happy about it. And I love how angry everyone is about it too. Just because the institution is so afraid of Mamdani. They're so fucking afraid of him. And it's wonderful to see somebody who literally said, fuck you, I'm going to stay in New York and I'm going to work with the people of New York. I have not heard that out of a politician anywhere in a long time. No one fucking says that they're going to stay where they are and help the people that they're trying to like be mayor or the governor of the or go to the house or go to the Congress or whatever the fuck. No one says like I'm here because I want to represent you, the people who work here, the people who are actually here. At least not since I've been alive and I've been able to like hear and like understand what it means. He's the first politician. Sure, he's a politician, but I love him. And people don't really understand what democratic socialism means. They just hear socialism and then they call it communism. They scream it into microphones and they explode it everywhere. And all that democratic socialism means is that the, they would like to pull the shit back down to where it belongs. Corporations don't need to be people and they don't need to own everything and they don't need to own every aspect of your life. They don't need to control every fucking thing. The democratic socialists want to work with unions. I'm in a union. Mia's in a union. Most people in New York work in unions. It's very important that we have a leader who wants to lead the fucking New York City, who wants to work with unions. We have some of the biggest. My wife is a New York City school teacher. She is in one of the largest unions in the country. It's fucking crazy. Working class people have been standing up and it's been beautiful to see. It's been fucking magical and it's freaking people out. And that's how I'm feeling. I hate all the shit that I'm seeing, all the bombings, all the children exploding, everything that sucks, people losing health care or maybe will lose healthcare. Like I went into like a rage spiral because there was that senator in Florida who had an ectopic pregnancy who almost died on the table because of the 6-week abortion ban that they currently have in Florida. And then she is trying to call Ron DeSantis to have them override the thing. And then they finally do it. And then she gets on TV and blames the libs, blames the fucking Democrats for her almost dying on the table. No, you voted for it. You were one of the people that voted for you almost dying. Look inward, for fuck's sake. So that stuff makes me mad. But I do feel great hope. I do feel great joy for what I'm seeing. And it's gonna be good as long as we can stick together and we can use our voices and we continue to move forward in a positive way. And positivity looks very different than maybe people think. It looks like marching, it looks like calling, it looks like maybe things get a little more curse wordy and a little bit less fucking civil. But that's what you got to do. We are still in this experiment of our country, right? We are still in this experiment of this democratic republic. People don't want it. It's scary. They want to control everything, every aspect of your life, whether it's through an AI database or keeping you on the breadline or and everywhere in between. No one's going to stand up but you and your neighbor next to you. And that's the most powerful thing that you can do. I mean, it's just the end of Pride Month, right? Pride is the perfect example of this. Pride was a rebellion, it was a protest, it was a revolution. It still is. The the act of people just being out and being fucking visible is enough to while people still are going fucking crazy and they don't like it and blah 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 and they're trying to make drag queens not read the kids, people being in the public eye, people being like, fuck you, this is who I am and I deserve to be here, a lot of the times that's enough to move the needle. Yeah, anyway, so that's what I'm feeling and that's what I'm watching and that's what I'm reading. Now it's time for me to introduce Mia Cusumano. I have known Mia, like I said, for I don't know, 10, 12 years now, something like a long time. she was one of the first people to call me in for something, which I think is really cool. And she was also one of the first people to recognize me for more than just my type. I knew that I was doing something right when I got called in for an Aaron Sorkin film, um, and she called me in. And when I walked in the room, I walked in with people who didn't look like me for the first time. Um, and it was very cool to go in for the trial of Chicago 7, um, having wanted to just to audition for an Aaron Sorkin piece, and to be seen in a way by a person who I deeply respect, um, as not only large but also intelligent enough to play in that world, was very meaningful, because it was a thing that I was trying to show casting, that I was also. Um, so Mia has cast some incredible things. She has a show that she just cast out right now called The Good Sister, um, right? Called the the Better Sister. Yes, she's mouthing at me. It's The Better Sister. Thank you. Starring Jessica Biel and Elizabeth Banks. She has also helped cast Rami. And I have the list here. I'm getting nervous now. I'm forgetting. And the trial of the Chicago 7, as well as a myriad of indie films. Um, One of them appears to be coming up, is The Escape of the Living Dead. I don't know if that's actually happening, but that would be fucking rad. Um, and let me just find one more. Oh, I Feel Pretty with yeah, that was a good one. You do some good shit, man. Without further that was with Amy Schumer. And without further ado, here's Mia Cusumano. Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm great. Oh, and it's her birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with me on your
Yeah,
birthday.
thank you for having me.
Oh, hell yeah. Of course. Of course. Well, I'm gonna do a thing that I don't ever do live on air, and that's drink alcohol. So happy birthday.
Thank you. I will do it as well.
Mm.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh,
My birthday
cool.
cocktail. So
Your birthday cocktail. What is it?
A martini. I only drink 3 things. I drink
Yeah.
wine, tequila, or a martini.
Nice. I only drink beer now.
Really?
And yeah, well, yeah, because I was really into whiskey for a while, but then I had 2 children, and so now I
Right.
can't drink, I can't drink whiskey anymore.
No.
But this is Stone Cold Steve Austin's beer. He was a wrestler. I don't know if you know the name, but it's an IPA, and it's delicious.
Good.
What's it? I think it's great to see plus size representation, and not just to be the fat comic relief or the friend to the hot lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That's a great comment.
I mean, I definitely think that there's definitely like fat phobia in our industry, and they don't think that they can be sexy, which I think is utterly ridiculous, because I don't look at body size and think, oh, they can't be the lead. They can't be the romantic lead. That's stupid.
It is stupid.
It's stupid.
It is fucking dumb. And it's a thing that we've sort of moved away from piece by piece. But it's, it's still
For
pretty
men we have. For men.
Yes, for men we have.
Not for women. Women
No.
don't get that pass. But men, yes. Men always get,
Right. And if it's like a non, like, I don't know, whatever the like hot meta is at the moment in the industry, because it changes, then it's like always from a person who like had to like write it star in it and then pull all the funding in themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So you are a casting director. Yes. So I mean, for people that don't know what that means, Mia is hired by a movie or a TV show from either like an independent person or a major studio, and then she helps get actors in to be in the film and or the TV show. But what is very specific about it is, so I'll let you talk about it. I don't need to talk about it for you, but people are asked questions like, don't people just offer the roles for their friends, or don't people just know what to do? Why is a casting director important to a project?
Well, because I mean, I think we consider all things relevant. Like, but the funny thing is when someone doesn't come from a casting director's perspective, they may be casting the best people they think they see, and that's all well and good, but that's not the only thing that matters. There's sort of like building a scene, and if you have 8 people in a scene and all of them are brunette and white, what the fuck is that?
Right.
It doesn't, and even if they're all black, and because they all look the same, like it doesn't, there's no dimension to it. And casting directors all we think about is how to build a scene, like how to paint it, paint the town basically, and to create the world. And we're the ones who sort of make sure that that's all balanced. Like if you don't want 8 blondes in a scene, you just don't. It would look boring, even if they were the gorgeous 8 blondes in the world. And so like we're always thinking about that. We're thinking about like the way a face is structured, the way what color eyes everybody has. We're thinking about all of that. That is all within our sort of thought process of how we build it. And like when we have certain people cast, like who are we going to bring in for these other roles that are left to cast, and how are we going to build that scene, and the personalities and the energy that someone brings. You want people to like work with each other, but also work against each other in some ways, because then it adds dimension to a scene. So that's what I think casting directors bring, where, not that a director or a producer can't certainly cast people without a casting director, but I don't know that they have the time or the bandwidth to think of all those things when they're thinking about other things too. So like it's, sure, a producer could think about a set deck, but they're not going to want to, because again, set deck is about like decorating every aspect of a scene, so it's sort of the same thing with casting. We're thinking about like the eyelashes of the scene, not just the face.
And what I found really interesting too, and just from like speaking to casting and also being on the other side of the table, like when I was making my like own stuff, is I tried to cast one thing on my own that I made, and it was so fucking hard, because like I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna cast like the best actors that I know, and then I was like, but they don't make any sense in the world, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to like, so, and it took up a lot of my pre-production time that I needed to do other shit. And with the casting, like casting people are incredible with knowing who's in town, and also like who is actually really good for what the role is. Like you can have an idea, but I've never been more stunned than when I've seen somebody I've never seen before in a thing that I've never known, that I never would have known about. And that was only because I was working with a casting director.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that, it's all sort of, it's like a balancing act, and it's, also it's working against type. It's like, okay, well, this person, this producer may have said, oh, I want this guy to be white and 6 feet tall, and we're like, okay, we're going to bring in this black girl, and she's, even though you're asking for a male, we're going to bring in someone that's 4 feet 11 inches, she's black, and by the way, she's a woman, but she'll do this scene right. And like, and it sort of can change things, and casting directors do have that ability to sort of challenge people, even if, because we get to have it behind the scenes, we get to like experiment behind the scenes, and we don't have to send everybody we bring in, but we can sort of think outside the box. And if it works, then we could be like, okay, we know this is different than what it was written, but however, just take a look, see if it sparks something. And sometimes it changes everything.
Sure.
That's like a really wonderful part of being part of the dynamic of creating a creative sort of world that is being put together as we speak, especially in a pilot that's going into series that it's never aired, and everything is being built in that pre-production world, and we're
Right.
part of that. So, you know,
Yeah, which is very cool.
yeah.
Um, do you hear my dog by any chance?
A very
Little bit. Yeah, he's upset because it's raining in New
yeah,
York right now.
yeah.
So I might go like grab him soon if he doesn't calm down, and I hope that's okay.
I,
Um,
I love dogs, so
all
you
right, I'll be
right
just
next to
2
me. So
seconds,
go
just 2 seconds.
ahead.
Jameson! I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Sorry, live audience. Oh, this is Jameson.
Hello, Jameson.
Oh, yeah, he gets spooked by the thunder. He's just gonna chill down here on my lap. Thank you, and thank you everybody for the brief pause. Cool. All right, so how'd you get started?
I interned at ABC. I had someone there who I knew who got me an internship. I did that for maybe 4 years. I interned during pilot season. I was studying at FIT. I was planning on working in fashion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my first love. And I was doing casting and loved it. I did. I loved everything about casting. It's very similar in the fashion world, to be quite honest. I mean, it's sort of, there's a lot of, trend forecasting with casting. So it does mirror each other differently, but similarly. And so I was studying at FIT and was doing the internship thing, and then I went off and did I worked for a boutique. I was a buyer. I was their buyer, and I worked for this woman who was just downright crazy.
Okay.
Like, I call her my spirit breaker. She tried to break my spirit every single day.
Those people are the best.
Yeah, they're really great, and so um it was just a really terrible situation where I was like having panic attacks daily. I was literally going to the hospital with panic attacks.
Oh no.
I was dying and there were panic attacks. It was because I was being like verbally abused every day by this woman. And so ABC knew about it and they were like, just quit your job, because in New York, you can't quit a job if you don't have another job. So
Right, yeah, because then
yeah, you just
yeah,
can't.
yeah, you'll just die then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My panic attacks would have turned into like, homelessness.
Yeah.
So yeah, so ABC was like, why don't you just quit your job? We have a temp position open. You could come here until you get into another position. We'll take you on for, it was pilot season again. And then I just ended up literally staying there for another like 2 years. And then I left and went independent. And so that's sort of how I got into it. It was because I knew somebody in casting who got me an internship and then took me out of I was in a very abusive relationship with a boss, and they helped me escape.
Well, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
so fucking cool
yeah,
that's how it happened.
yeah,
And what a beautiful way for it to happen too.
yeah.
I mean, you're so good at it. You're so good at casting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm not and it's not just because you call me in. Like it's like you have such a great like taste level when it comes to performance and like when it comes to actors, and maybe that has to do with the fact that you came from fashion, um because it is like it's a very specific way of casting a project. Is you have to really tune into the world and how it's written and who's on the creative team, it's a very like meta way of looking at a project. Like you're almost like the like arbiter of the whole thing, where you're the big picture person, like being like, now this is all going to work out the way that you think you want it.
Right.
Because a lot of times creatives get so fucked up in their own head that they don't really know what they want.
Yeah.
So it's an exceptional skill to be able to show them like this is what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even sort of the creatives, I think, that mess things up. I think it's sort of like the studio and like the people that are over us even are like, we don't really see it this way. And that's just like a challenge that we all have, is like trying to find like the way to marry all of our opinions and all of our sort of taste levels and seeing how it works together. And I think, sorry, my dog is walking behind me.
Hi.
She's like, excuse me, I want to be on this side of the couch.
Pardon me. Yeah.
So like, and even when I send people like to my creatives and I'm like, okay, here's my top, 5, and I like all 5. But then when they choose the one person I don't like as best as the other, I'm like, why they choose that person?
Yeah.
Like, threw them in, like, so I could get my person in. And sometimes that works against me. And but I'm always like, there are always people I obviously liked enough to send, but I don't always get my way, and that's tough. As someone, especially someone like me, who I am sort of like very, not that I'm controlling, but like I do definitely have. Like when I'm on a project, I am the one who is most focused and most like, I want to have my hands in everything, even though I have a partner, I have an associate, and I'm like, okay, I must be in everything. So it's a little difficult to give up that sort of control for me.
Sure.
But yeah.
Well, that's because you care, right? Yeah. I mean, like you're creatively passionate about it.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, being a person who is like that too, I totally understand that, like wanting to make it perfect and make it right, in a industry and in a world where things are never perfect and is hard, but that's why people like you excel at it, is because you are trying to make it perfect.
Yeah.
What's this say? It's true. Us creatives have a specific vision, and sometimes the vision just isn't feasible. It's true.
But what I will say about creatives, and I've worked with both people that are bendable and who are very like strict in their focus, and that will never work for the project. If someone doesn't know how to bend, they're going to destroy their project because they feel like, I just need it the way I wrote it or the way I envisioned it. And you can't, sometimes it doesn't come together the way you envision it. And that's okay, because maybe sometimes it falls apart to a better project. And I think that when, I've worked with individuals who I adore, but who just outright did not want to bend on the storytelling part of it, about how they envisioned each character, like whether they be, Latin or Black or white or women or man. And when you don't allow for someone to challenge that and to have your mind changed for the benefit of the story and the project, then you're actually doing yourself a disservice. And it's unfortunate because so many things come about from the mess, from the destruction of your dream, of what you envisioned. And then the rebuilding of that is so beautiful that if you're missing out on that, like, that's unfortunate for you, because then you're losing a project based on you not being bendable. And that's a bad place. That's a bad creative, especially a bad lead creative.
Sure.
You can be that creative anywhere else, but when you're leading the creative team and you are unwilling to sort of bend your vision, that's not creative.
I agree. I mean, like, like creativity is a melting pot of lots and lots of things. And there are folks that are very non-bending, and people will say that they're geniuses, and some of them, not all of them, but
Yeah.
there are a few, like, but like, I don't know, I'm just gonna say a name and hope I don't get canceled, but like, you know, David Fincher is very specific.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
And by the way, he gets to be because he's sort of, and not that it's right or it's wrong, but he gets to be because he got to a certain point of his career.
yeah,
You allow a lot of that
when it's proven.
when it's proven.
Yeah,
Sometimes they're still wrong. Like that's the
yeah,
thing. You just still can't tell them, you know.
right. Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah. Yeah, so that's an interesting thing about our industry too, is that if you have a proven like hit record, like if you make money,
Hmm.
then you can kind of get away with more shenanigans.
Sure.
Um, and I'm not talking about like you can like sexually harass people shenanigans.
Behavior,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
sort of vocalization in the room.
Right. Like this
Yeah.
is what I want, or you can fuck
Behavior
yourself.
has sort of that ability to be badly behaved. Not that it doesn't still happen, but it happens a lot less, or it's called out now. Even
Yeah.
when it's just like your behavior, not certainly not anything like when it comes to like sexualizing women or being misbehaved in that way. That's not acceptable. But like still bad behavior is accepted when it comes to like sort of verbally abusing people in our industry. Like that still sort of happens. I hope it happens a lot less. You know, as someone who was verbally abused by a boss, not in this industry, but in a industry, and it's not like it is not. And I'm a pretty strong person. It is not for the weak at all, and it's not even.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I will say that in this industry, I have gotten berated quite a bit. And I've also been told that because of what I look like and because of my size and stuff, um, because I'm a big, strong guy, I got
Mhm.
muscles and I'm tall. So when I talk about like being uncomfortable or I don't like being touched, I get a lot of pushback from folks, specifically other men, where they make fun of me or they tell me like, oh, whatever, and like I was in like a consent circle on a project, um, which you can feel however you want to feel about being in a consent circle, but
Mhm.
but if you think it's stupid, it's because it's not for you, right? Like these things don't exist for the people that feel like I don't need this, is stupid. It's like that's because it's not for you. It's for the people that maybe you've made feel uncomfortable over the years, maybe by accident, whatever. So um I have found that when I'm like I don't like to be touched, because I do get touched a lot, and that's just like part of being a larger guy,
Mhm.
is that people touch your chest, your arms, your back, your legs. They're like, wow, what is, holy shit, I can't believe how big you are.
It is inappropriate, and yet
Yeah,
no.
I don't like it,
Yeah.
but I
That's okay. You can set those boundaries for yourself. I don't think that should be problematic for anyone. And if it
no, I
is,
agree.
that person has an issue that needs to be dealt with HR.
I agree. But when I've talked about it, other men come up to me and start touching me
Oh,
and
well,
like making fun of me. And like I'm the same way. I don't give a shit. Like I'll say it and like be like, this is how I feel. And like other people are like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, oh, sure, fine. And then I'll get fucked with. But it's like it is still a bit of an issue. It's just not like a Harvey Weinstein issue anymore.
no, it's definitely not that. And if it is, it's something that's growing that we don't know about. But I mean, I do think that if someone says to you, this is making me feel uncomfortable, and someone pushes back, then that person is obviously not a safe person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when you say to a man, and here's the thing, it's like if you say to a man, hey, men aren't, I have a problem with men, the patriarchy, and they clap back with not all men, well, then you're not a safe man.
Right.
Because if you were a safe man, you'd say to me, you're right. Those unsafe men fucking suck. Excuse my language. You wouldn't go and defend the safe ones because the safe ones would always be safe, even when you're bitching.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, that's not a thing that, like, people would say if they didn't feel like they had done shit wrong in their
Right.
lives, right?
Exactly. Right.
And everyone has, like, we
Sure.
didn't just get born, right? Like,
By the way,
yeah,
I'm sure I've done things that
yeah,
offended people. Certainly not knowledge, like I not with knowledge that I would ever offend somebody, but like I'm sure in life you make other people uncomfortable. But if you're told and you act with respect to the person that you've offended or you've made to feel uncomfortable, as long as you do, if as long as you clean that up right and correctly, then you're not the bad person. You just sometimes people do things I don't know.
I don't
And
know, yeah, sometimes people fuck up, right?
yes,
And
for
and
sure.
it's okay as long as you
Yes.
own it and you apologize
Yeah.
and you don't do it anymore,
Yeah.
right? So, and I think maybe this is taking a left turn here, but I feel like I loved Me Too when it first came out, right? Like when it first came out, quote unquote.
Yes.
But
Of course.
but
Yeah.
but like there's no accountability culture, which is what I want. Like cancel culture A doesn't do anything,
Yeah.
B just like makes people fucking crazy, and it makes people not take, you know, any responsibility for what they're doing. Like if we were like, if you actually apologize and change, then that's
Sure.
fine.
I'm all for like the thing is that the cancel culture got way out of hand for everyone.
Yeah,
It didn't need to be. I understand how it got there. I think definitely. I think because in the beginning, who we were canceling were the violent offenders
right.
almost.
Yes.
But like as things kind of sort of progressed, we didn't allow for explanations. We just canceled, which I don't agree with at all. I still don't agree with. I think everyone deserves their fair shake at least saying, "Hey, give me a second. I need to not even explain myself, but have my side of the story." I do believe we've sort of wiped that out, and I don't think that's fair. I also think that I do believe all women, unless they give me a reason not to, and
Right.
certainly there are women that do that. It's not a one size fits all thing, and that's okay. And I understand like how we're all sort of like wanting to back what we think is the right side of history, but it doesn't. Sometimes it feels like, but we're not allowing another side to even be spoken with this quick sort of canceling of things. And you know, I think we're all sort of in this learning curve because we're allowing people to voice their discontent and so like everything is sort of coming together now. And I don't know, it's a we're in a weird world. And now
Yeah.
the weird
I've
world that we're in, which
yeah.
doesn't allow for anything.
Well, well, so I've had this type of conversation before with like other folks, and the general consensus that I've kind of come to understand is that like when an issue first starts coming up and like first starts getting spoken about, right? Um, it just needs to be talked about in whatever form and however it comes up, just repeatedly and over again, to like move the needle and like change the way that like things are done and like things are looked at.
Mhm.
And while it can go extreme and get out of hand sometimes the pendulum needs to swing over to an extreme so that it can come back down to a more
It's
normal
about
place.
yeah,
Yeah. um and I feel like that's sort of starting to happen with like a lot of things.
yeah,
um but change is never easy and it's usually always painful.
always
um
for sure.
and I do feel like, not in every case, but in most cases, people that have genuinely apologized and have genuinely changed their shit, like like um or have been canceled because they fucking deserve to, is great. But like there was that whole thing with like Aziz Ansari, right? Where
Right.
and later it turned out to be like like a not a thing.
And have you seen him since?
So he's just reemerging now, but he was like at the top, like the
Mhm.
toppiest top that you
Yeah.
can get. um
And
and he got torn down eh. And then like Louis C.K.'s winning fucking Grammys,
Mhm.
right? Like, and he actually did all that shit, and his apology was like, well, I'm sorry, I'll be back
Well, it's like,
later.
but do you know what it's like? And I don't want to bring it to politics, but it's like Cuomo. I'm Italian. Well, so the fuck am I.
Yeah,
I don't harass women or men because I'm Italian. Like to say like that's my excuse. Like and people are like, okay, well, let's make a mayor again. Let's make a mayor now. He was
yeah,
governor. What do we like? It's like we allow the excuse for some, but not for others because well, it sort of helps us if like Cuomo could maybe he could beat Trump, but what
right,
the
yeah,
reasoning for why we excuse it from one actor versus the other is crazy. And the fact is that Nz is brown and what's his name is white.
Louis C.K. Yeah, I mean
Like, is that
it
what it
could be
is? Like,
that.
it's easier to put it on a brown person and say, "Hey, you don't get a second chance." A white person, well, so we're like entering a weird who we excuse,
Yeah,
who we don't.
who
Like, who gets
gets
a
to have a life and who
right?
doesn't get to have a life, and who decides that. It's largely I guess it's the people that make those decisions, whether it's like bank owned studios or whatever's happening. I'm yeah. um but yes, so I would like to see accountability culture exist over cancel culture. Like
Yes,
if you are a horrible rapist, you don't get to have accountability culture. You just go away forever. Um,
for sure.
but like if you've had some questionable shit, we've all had some questionable shit, right? Every single one of us. Like I was born in the 80s, right? Like I came up and in the 90s and the early thousands shit was crazy, right? Like when I was in college, I don't know, I definitely didn't do shit that was correct. But now, like I wasn't like, assaulting anybody, but I certainly wasn't like, you know, I don't know, like you know what I mean? Like
Weren't and listen, I know, and there's and not that even that's an excuse. However, it was just the time that we grew up. I
it
know,
was culturally different.
yeah, like I mean, like even like when you watch Sesame Street from the 70s when I grew up, I was like, this shit is brutal. Like Sesame Street was like I
Yeah,
would I wouldn't let my we were I got my nephew the whole like the 70s series of Sesame Street because it was my sister and I were born in like my sister was born in 73, I was born in 76 and like the like all the Sesame Street things that we knew were from like the late 70s, early 80s. So I got like this whole set of Sesame Street and we watched it with my nephew when he was really little and we're like, this is weird. Like
yeah,
even this was weird. Like they were like over like the neighbor's house and like he was singing and like dancing with these kids. I'm like, this would never be allowed on television today.
right.
Even Sesame
Yeah.
Street was
Do you
different.
do you remember Pete and Pete? You remember that show Pete and Pete? All right,
No.
so it was like a 90s show,
Mhm.
and there was this like guy, he was like a man, like a grown man, and he was hanging out with the kids like constantly, like he was their friend.
Right.
And like he was like a superhero, he was pretending to be a superhero. That would not no fly now. No.
No.
No. No.
No. And nor should it. And it's fine. It's great that we evolved to this. You know what I mean?
For
But
number
like,
2.
I don't know that when people are like, oh, Friends was this, or I'm like, wait, okay, yes, I get that today it wouldn't work, but it's okay to still enjoy things that don't work today. It's
I
still okay
think
to find humor.
that's so
It's still okay
important.
to see like where we did progress to a point that was progression. Friends was progression, by the way. We had a gay character. I mean, that was in 1993 or 1994 when it came out. So like it did progress to like we were progressed there from 5 years even
Right,
earlier or 10 years earlier. Like
right.
we have to stop looking at things and saying, well, we want to cancel Friends. Why do you want to cancel Friends? That was in the 1994. I was 18 years old when that came on or whatever. Let it go. Like it's still okay to find joy in it. It's like not finding joy in like like Rhonda or like the honeymooners, even though they were racist, or like, it's okay.
How do we learn
Yeah.
if we don't look back,
Right.
right?
We
Like,
have to still engage with that stuff, because otherwise we can't just shut it down and be like, that never existed. Well, it did exist.
and
Still
there
exists.
are still things
Yeah,
in those things that are beautiful and
absolutely.
real and magical.
And by the way, those people helped progress us to this point.
Right.
We do have to give them credit for that, and that's okay. Like, we just canceling things out because they don't work with today doesn't mean they never existed. Like, not learning and not remembering what sort of brought us to this point will then bring us back to that point. If we
Right.
just pretend it never existed, well, it
Right.
did exist. We were those people. That was our humor. And we have to acknowledge it. And that's okay.
I fucking agree. I agree with you so much. Right. Okay. So we have a casting question.
Oh my God, a casting question? Okay, let's go.
And it's a really interesting one, actually, because it's a thing that people don't know anything about. So when someone is cast in a project, is it the casting director that makes the call to replace them if they find out the person actually wasn't right for the role?
Okay, so it depends. When when that terrible situation does come up, and believe me, I don't find anything sort of more devastating as a casting director to do. Firing someone who is on set or who is working and who has been given the opportunity to be on set, to fire them is an unimaginable pain that I feel.
Yeah, that's got yeah.
I don't want to do it. I've experienced it only twice in my career where I've had to sort of fire an actor that was on set. And it was terrible. It was awful. I will, it is not, the casting director will do the firing, unfortunately. We're usually the ones who have to call the agent and be like, hey, we have to talk to you about something.
Yeah.
But the call usually comes from inside the house, not from me, because I think even when I think someone's not right and a creative thinks they're right, until that creative says that's not right, and they've chosen that person, I really can't be like, hey, you got to take that person off set. I would never do that unless I was asked specifically, like, what I thought of somebody, and I have been asked, and sometimes I'm like, listen, I actually don't think they're that bad. Are they that good? No. Are they what I would have maybe chosen for me? Like, would that have been my choice? No, but you chose them. And so obviously you found something in them that you loved. But when I was sent someone's material from a set not that long ago, and they're like, we're having some difficulties. What do you think? And I said, listen, is she the best person? No. I'm not offended by her.
What does that mean, having difficulties? Like, the acting's off, or
a person, the chemistry isn't there. And if the chemistry is not there, there is literally nothing you can do. It doesn't matter how good the actor is as an actor. If two people don't have chemistry, they don't have chemistry. That is a problem that should have been resolved before set, but that's not something that I can call. And if I don't know that someone needs to have a chemistry test, I would never suggest it, because it's money. That's and so, like,
but is that not like a training issue? Like, I have worked with people who I fucking hate,
yeah,
and I can have
but
perfect
you can still have chemistry with someone you hate.
Yeah. Well, but yeah,
that's the weird thing about chemistry. It doesn't. Some people with the best chemistry hate each other offset. Some people with the worst chemistry have a great relationship. It doesn't mean anything about anything. It's I think sometimes when you hate each other, sometimes the chemistry is there,
right? Because it's the opposite of
yes,
yeah.
But like, I think it's probably one of the worst things that you can do as a casting director is to let someone go, because God, like, giving someone a job is like the greatest joy of a casting. Like, I love giving someone a job.
I mean,
And
especially in TV and film, it is one of the
yes,
hardest
yeah,
things to achieve.
yeah.
Like
You take that
yeah,
away,
yeah,
and they're like, "Well, at least they're getting paid." I'm like, "No, but pay, yeah. Listen, the pay is great, and even on an indie, like if you get paid for not working, oh, good for you. I've just made like $10,000 and I didn't do anything. But
right.
like the truth is they wanted to do something. They wanted that for the real. The real is what they're looking to build.
Yes.
Like that is what every actor is looking to do. And so to say like, oh, well, you still got paid, like $10,000 or $20,000 or even $30,000. That's not that the sting. That's not where the sting is about losing the money. Actually, for an actor, it's
It's about
there,
losing the footage.
but the footage is what,
Yeah.
especially a new actor, a young actor who is just coming onto the scene and who is, coming onto it during the COVID times and like the strike times where we're not in the room anymore, and like it's just such a shitty time to be fired as well. Like it's a very uncomfortable thing. I am never happy about it, and it's always something that sort of leaves me not feeling great about anything.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about that a bit. Like it's a totally different time. Um and like people coming out now, like whether it's an actor or it's a new casting professional,
Mhm.
they're entering a world that didn't exist 5 6 years ago,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, going in a room with you
Yeah.
and working on a scene is a thing that is basically gone.
Gone.
Um,
And
and
isn't that a wonderful thing?
it was it was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Like because like especially as an actor, you have to fall in love with the process. And part of the process was you got to work with another creative in a
Mhm.
room who brought you in because they believe in you
Right.
and they want you in this thing.
Yeah.
And while that's still happening, like with like tapes, like you're being called in because the person believes in you, it's not the same. Like I know that like when you call me in, I know that, but that's because I've worked with
But
you in the
we
room.
already established our relationship.
Yes, we already have a
Think about
relationship.
these kids that are coming up today, and what's so heartbreaking for me as a casting director, and I think for you knowing where we were where you were as an actor, even 10 years ago, that establishment of our relationship came from being in the room, getting to know each other, me reading your energy. And I do read it, and I know that sounds kooky and like, oh, I'm like new age. That's not what but it is. Like I
Yeah,
read people's energy. I know who I want to cast. I know who I want to work with. I know who I want to fight for.
right.
And that establishes my relationships. And like, and though I'm getting to know actors differently now, like I'm always going to want the relationship that I've had like with these actors that over the last 20 years I've created and have nurtured and loved and like sort of like mothered, and I don't get that. And
So how are you doing it now? When it's a newer person that you haven't met before, how do you get a vibe? Like is it just from the slate? Like how do you do it?
yeah, like I don't, it's different. I mean, I guess I don't know. I think I still sort of can read people.
Yeah.
Again, I have like I'm very intuitive, and I know that about myself. And literally, that's a great that's a quality that served me well in this industry. But I don't know that everybody's intuitive. You know what I mean? And it just it sort of just sucks. Like we're sort of flying a little more blindly than we were before. And yeah, a slate is great, but it doesn't really say anything about somebody. And when someone does too much in a slate, I'm always like a little bit apprehensive. I'm like, I don't like that. I'm like, they did too much. They want it to be noticed too much. And so like I get uncomfortable, and I'm like, are they trying too hard? Like, do I want to put them on set? Like that makes me uncomfortable. It's like what I feel like I respond to is people who are very like cognizant of all direction. And so like when they follow direction to the T, like I feel like, okay, that shows me that they're, at least very responsible. They're very like they're sort of serious about their career. Like they're not trying to be like showboating me in some weird way so that I notice them, because I hate all that.
Right.
So like those things do count. Like having good lighting counts. I know that sounds crazy, but like it's like taking yourself seriously in
Ooh.
this industry, even in these self-tapes auditions, like that helps. It gives you like this, not that it's an edge, but it's like at
So
least they're
what
hearing everything we're saying. I don't know.
can we talk about that for a second? Because the
Mhm.
union just changed the rules,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I have like a fucking movie studio that I use when I'm doing a tape
Mhm.
because that's I've got tons of lights. I got this is my self tape backdrop that I use for the show. Blah
Right.
blah blah blah. I have mics, but the union just changed the rules about tech setup, um, where they are saying that you don't have to have all this shit anymore. You just have to be able to be heard and you have to be able
Yeah.
to be seen.
That's all I care about. I don't care
Yeah.
about any of that other stuff, actually. Like that's funny because I really, and I've said that to actors all the time. Ooh,
Oh no.
my
Oh,
computer just fell.
oh, good. I thought you fell.
No,
Oh my
my
god.
computer just fell. Listen, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I don't need fanciness is not what I'm looking for. I want to hear you and see you. If I can't do those two things, and I've said this for years since COVID. So it's not like for me, it was never a union. I never needed the union to tell me this. I don't
Yeah.
need fancy. I need to hear you. I need to see you. If I can't get those two things, it doesn't matter what you've done in front of me. I you're gone. Like it doesn't blue screen, green screen. If you're in a kitchen, if you're at the shore, I don't care about any of that. Like
Yeah.
whatever serves you, whatever you need to do, you need to do. But I do need to hear you, and I do need to see you, and that's it.
Okay.
So like I'm actually pretty easy with that. But those two things, if they're not there,
Yeah. Like if they're in the dark or you can't
I'm
hear
not even
them.
gonna watch it at this point. I just won't do it, because if you thought that was good enough to send to me, shame on you. You're not a serious actor. You've told me your story by sending it to me like that.
Yeah.
Unless you said to me, hey, I was in the dark, I had no lights, my electricity went out, I didn't pay my bill, whatever. Give
Whatever.
me
Yeah.
a reason why you're like that. And then I'll say to you, okay, let's get on a Zoom. I'll Zoom you. But like even like the Zoom thing, like when people are like, oh, casting director needs to get back in the room. Okay. Well, I offered Zooms for the Better Sister throughout the whole entire thing, and no one came except my old tried and true. The veteran actors who have been in this industry for 30 or 40 years, these new actors didn't want anything to do with my Zooms. I had to
Oh
beg
wow.
to get into the Zoom. So like, like when people say, oh, casting directors don't want to get back into the room, but when we're offering a Zoom, they're not even showing up for it. They don't want it. We can't fill in our space for that Zoom because everybody wants to self tape.
So I will say that I don't know that casting is offering a Zoom 90% of the time because my agent doesn't tell me.
Well, I think they have
So
to offer a Zoom actually at this point per contract.
so so there's no option. So I have to ask.
Yeah. You
So
should always ask.
yeah, so it's like when I get my like email like, hey, this is the thing, and they send the full breakdown and blah 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 blah. There's never a if you want to Zoom, you can schedule it like at this time and time. And I know that like a lot of folks still do. I'd love to do a live Zoom.
Yeah.
Like I'm very confident in my tapes, but I also know that there's shit that you know that I don't know, and you'll give me a note that'll add to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
And
And by the
that
way, the Better Sister would, when we would send our tapes, my my showrunner would emailed me the one day, and she said, can you get more people to Zoom with you because we see the difference in the tapes?
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I would love to. However, no one wants these Zooms. We're trying. Believe me. Like I would say to my associate, Heather, I'm like, if you need to extend it, I'm giving you 2 hours of time. If someone says like I need to be here at 4 and I'm only giving us till 3:30, extend it. I don't care. I'd rather just get people in. I'm just giving you a time frame so we can um we could have a time frame, basically, like just so we have parameters.
Right.
However, I'm certainly one of the most easygoing people when it comes to anything. When it comes, especially with casting, I'm like, no, I'll I'll go longer, I'll go later as long as I can. If I'm free, I don't care. I don't care about working 18-hour days, especially because I'm home. Like
Right.
but no one wanted them. And so like when you see these articles that condemn casting as like getting back in the room, like get back in the, I'm like, what are you talking about? We can't even get them on Zoom, never mind back in the room. Actors have decided they like being able to sort of uh, do as many takes as they can, but the truth is that no one does more than 2 takes ever that are good. Your second take is always going to be your best take,
Yeah.
unless there's something really crazy that you're doing. Like it's
That became the most apparent to me when I had children.
yeah,
When I had children and I didn't have any time anymore,
yeah.
and my manager has told me that since I've had kids, my tapes have
I bet
been
I bet
the
they're
best that they've ever been
yeah.
because I don't have any time. So I just run off of my instincts.
Hmm.
And
And that
and
is what
yeah,
all actors should do.
yeah,
For sure. I'm like, when an actor has the moment to think about what they're doing, they will beat it to the point of it. And it's just because they're getting in their head. And I'm like, casting stops that from happening. We're like, stop. We're telling you to let it all go.
right,
Come in here, do it. We've got you. If we tell you you're good, get the fuck out. Walk away. But like
right.
you're sitting at home and you're like thinking about it and you're like, I said the word the with a the instead of and then they
No,
do
I
it
know.
again and you're like, what are you doing? Like, no, but everything else about that take was perfect. But because that one word that in your head you were like, oh no, that didn't work. I'm gonna do it again. And then you're beating this beautiful thing down to nothing.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah.
You
It's
know.
very true. And it's a totally different medium, right? Like
Yeah.
TV and film versus theater. Like you've got to be, I mean, not that you don't have to like plan and do your work, but
Right.
it's not the same type of planning and doing your work,
No.
right?
Not
And you know, like
come in theater. No, no,
no,
no,
not at all. Like with TV and film, you got to know what to do. You got to hit your mark. You got to know where you're on camera. You got to know your frame. You got to know how much you can move around. Blah 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 blah. But you want not that acting for theater isn't a real human performance. That's not what I'm saying either. But it's a
different.
different thing. It's
Yeah.
a it's more visceral because it's spontaneous and it's immediate and it's
Mhm.
so fleeting and you move on so quickly.
Right. In a theater, you're playing to the audience, where film and television, you're playing literally against the audience. Like you don't want the audience. Like the audience is not there. It can't
Yeah,
be there. Um, and they're it's such they're different genres. Totally, it's totally different acting. It's totally different. It's you know.
it
I don't.
is.
Sorry, my dog
Yeah.
walking past.
No, mine I think just went to sleep
See,
behind here. He got pissed and laid down. But yeah. But yeah, I mean like I'll just ask for Zooms more because
you should.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
I
would
should.
encourage all actors, if you, even if it's not being offered, just say like, and listen, there are times that we can't offer Zooms, and usually with like indies when I'm not really being compensated, let's just say, but I'm doing it. I'm not going to necessarily offer Zooms because that's even extra work for me.
Right.
But on my shows, yes, absolutely, I'm offering Zooms. Um, we've learned how to offer them so everyone gets a chance, because there are some agencies will be like, I want Zooms, and they'll take all the appointments and then none of them will show up. And so then we were like, okay, well, that's never going to happen again. Like, we're
Right,
not
right.
doing that. But, and I tell people in my classes all the time, if you're given the opportunity for an audition in the Zoom, get in the room, because you're getting in with a casting director who's working with you. And yes, it's not in person, but at least we're working with you and we're like playing with you and we're having fun with you. And it's like, we're interacting. And that's what we love. We love working with actors. That's all casting directors want to work with actors. So at least I think they do. I'm pretty sure. I don't know anyone that I've worked with in the past, or that I know, or my colleagues who I love and admire. I don't know any of them who wouldn't want to be in a room with actors.
I know.
We're all in the same situation.
Well, because we're all doing the same thing, and what people really don't know is that casting directors also have agents too.
Right.
Which is a thing that people are like, what? And it's like, yeah, it's because like the actor and the casting director are like, we're like
yeah,
the right and the left hand, right? Like, we're both trying to do the same thing. We're both trying to make the best possible version of this art.
And I always tell actors, I'm like, listen, if you're not working, guess what? Probably so our casting director is not working.
Right.
Like, we're all sort of we may not all be in the exact same boat, but all of our boats have holes.
Right.
And we're all like scooping out the water, and we're all trying to survive. And yeah, maybe my boat is slightly different, but not really. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like, this is a tough time in our industry. I will not coat that. I will not pretend that it's not. I think that's silly to say like, oh no, I'm doing great. No, we're not. Like, this is a hard time right now. And I hope it ends. Everyone keeps saying, oh, in September. I'm like, okay, we said that in January. Oh, in May it's going to end. In June it's going to end. Oh, now we're moving the goalpost again. Oh, in September we're back to our normal stuff. I don't know. That's the truth of it. I'm not going to lie and say I do know. I hope September is when, because God, that would be great if we all went back to work like we were 6 years ago, I guess it is now.
Yeah, it's all very confusing because I was at like a TV Academy event at the end of last year, and I was talking to a lot of executives, and they were like, "Oh, we're fucking ready to go. Like, we have so much shit in the pipeline. Like, we're ready to go." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." Like, they're like, "Yeah, now that we don't have strikes anymore, now that we're not merging anymore, we're done with the retraction. We're just gonna fucking go." And like, then it was like the wildfires happened, and they were like, "No, we don't. We don't have anything. We're just canceling everything that we said we were gonna do." And it's been fucking wild. And we go back into to negotiating in a year, a year and a half.
That's insane to me.
Well, it's because it took so fucking long before, and the contracts are retroactive. So like, it's like when it was supposed to be. So we don't get the full 3 years now.
Right.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go back in the room, the actors and writers at the same time again, and it's gonna be fucking crazy, maybe.
Yeah. I hope not, because I don't think we can take much more, and I think we have to. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to tell anyone they should settle for something less than they're worth, obviously, but I think as an industry, as a whole industry, we need to sort of look at the excuse me, the bigger project.
Yeah, I will talk now. Joel, it's okay. I'm so happy with the amount of things that you are saying. I'm not responding to all of them, but I see them, and you've been very active, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And then while Mia is fixing her herself, no, it's cool. Let me just look through. Oh, so you freaked out people when your computer or whatever that was fell down. They're very scared.
I have it upright because I'm a little person. So I have it a little bit higher, so I appear a little bit more
A little bit taller.
old to
Yeah.
size. So yeah. Um,
But so I don't disagree with you, but also like I don't think people are we will never go backwards in what we're negotiating for.
oh no, and nor should you, nor should you. But like I think I don't know what our industry. I don't know how much our industry can handle, and
Right.
not,
Yeah.
excuse me, not because I don't think that the producers could handle anything on top of it. They could handle really. I mean, how do I want to explain this? I guess it's like it's not that I don't think we as a whole society in this industry deserve better pay, and I think we do, because obviously the sort of the scale of pay is very improper in our industry. However, what I'm worried about, I think, as just a person, even just looking in and thinking, how are we going to do this if there's another strike? I think not that we should ever walk away from a table and be like, okay, we're going to take something less than we're valued at. Because I don't think that, but I think, I don't think we got everything we needed this strike.
No.
And I think it damaged us a lot. And so, though we all banded together, I don't know if there was a benefit to it. Like, I don't think you walked away with a great contract, as good as we should have had or as good as we fought. So I'm wondering, like, is there an off year that we just say, like, okay, as long as we make sure the AI thing is, because we haven't really worked to get a raise or to get like whatever it is that we're trying to do. Like, I don't know how to handle this anymore, because I think part of this is like almost I don't know. I think we're
I'm pretty
expanding. I
certain
don't
that
really
if
know. I guess I don't know how to sort of
no, so I'm pretty certain that if we can like maintain and bolster the AI protections
right,
and try to get like a moderate increase for inflation,
right.
I'm pretty sure like I hope that's kind of what we're all looking for. Like
Sure.
that's what the leadership is looking for.
That's what I'm hoping for as well.
Yeah.
Just like a
Like
normal up.
your union has the I don't want to say luxury of, but like the Teamsters are like, fuck you, you can't do anything without us, we have all the trucks, fuck yourself, you
Right.
you
You look
know.
at that.
Yeah.
And for the Teamsters, the men, the drivers, that for like my part of the industry, we struggle. I mean,
Yeah,
definitely,
no, sure, yes.
it's not easy. And I think the negotiation part of this whole, like our whole entire industry is always terrible. But at the same time, we're all part of unions, which I think is wonderful. I mean, like, thank God we are. Working on a project, getting, 10 months of insurance for, 4 months of work.
Right. It's very
That's a
good.
cool thing.
I mean, also like being non-union and what I was being paid and how I was being treated, it was abhorrent.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but so, and I'm not saying I don't know what I'm saying, but like we need to try and get our industry back to where it was.
Right.
The pandemic and things of that nature drove the industry overseas
It
to
did.
England, to us, to Australia, to fucking Canada,
Mhm.
to places that it started as they have better COVID regulations than us.
Right.
So we're going to shoot there. And then when American production arrived there, they were like, how do we keep these fucking people here?
Mhm.
So they offer these robust incentives.
Yeah.
We can also offer these robust
Yes, we
incentives
can.
at the federal level that, like The other countries that are doing this, they have robust incentives from they call it not the federal government, that's what we fucking call it, but from the overall government. Like Australia's arts incentives
Oh, I know,
com-
it's insane.
competing
It's
with
Canada.
other short films
Yeah.
from Australia in our film festivals is a joke. The amount of money that a short film will receive $50,000 from the Australian government.
Yeah.
Like that's the baseline money. Like you can't compete as an American indie filmmaker. You cannot compete against that money in the festival circuit. There's a reason that we value Australian film and TV and their actors and English TV and film and their actors is
Yeah.
because they are
Well,
subsidized. It's socialism.
right, they're subsidized, but it's because I also believe in the arts. Our government right now is looking to destroy the arts. We
Right.
are literally and not that explains the last 15 years of our industry. I'm not saying it does.
Right.
Right now, we are currently in like contention with our government who does not believe in the arts, because
Right.
believing in the arts would be anti-fascism, and we are heading into a fascist society.
Right.
So to embrace the arts is a difficult thing.
Even the people that the current administration sent in as the like Hollywood czars to like fix stuff brought even John Voight, the most psycho person to ever exist, said it would be great if the federal government would offer incentives.
Right.
And it's like, yes, even the most like conservative psycho people among us
Right.
are saying this. Like,
and you saw what our administration's response was. Well, let's tariff move. You can't tariff a movie.
Right, you can't tariff a movie.
Is literally coming to you in debt.
Yeah.
So go ahead, tariff it. What are you tariffing? You can't tariff. Any production comes to us in debt. Literally.
Right. Yeah, you have to make money
in debt.
Yeah. You need people to come and see it or buy advertising space for it.
Yeah, like so what does that mean? Like I'm like, are they that stupid that they don't we literally land on a desk in debt?
It's while the terminology and the verbiage is ridiculous, the idea of it, like if you have a show or a movie that is set in New York that you shoot in Budapest, then you can incur a fine on whoever the parent company is that is like the total cost of the production, versus you don't get that fine if you shoot it here. I don't think that's great either, but it's better than like we're gonna tariff like that doesn't make any sense. Like one is like a thing that you can do.
Like the thing is like what are we saying? Are we saying that we don't want to shoot on location because like if something is set in Ireland but it's an American made film and it's all American actors and even like our American Teamsters are like going over there, or everything about it is American except locations, outside locations, are we saying that we're tariffing that? Like that's why it doesn't make any sense, because there's a lot of things that happen in the U.S.
Right.
We get a U.S. film other than just
where it shoots.
Right.
Right. Yes.
So it's like it's a more complicated, it's a more nuanced. Let's call it a nuanced issue.
It's
a nuanced issue, and because we are in an administration that doesn't even know how to define nuance, we are sort of like they're like, oh well, it's black and white. Well, nothing in this industry is black and white.
No.
And it can't be, and that's okay. And I thank God, because I am certainly a shades of gray person, as I think most creative people. We think in shades of gray, and
yes,
like they're like, oh, let's just tariff this, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because that doesn't actually solve our issue. I get what you want to do, but you're not doing it correctly. So let's actually sit with intelligent people who understand our industry and how do we get everything back in the US?
Right.
None of
Right.
it is about tariffing those who shoot outside the US, because US films that are backed by US, that are cast by US, that are production, everything is by the US except for locations. And therefore, yes, some production is there, but like,
Well, so I do understand it to a point, right? So I
yeah,
auditioned for a thing that I got pretty close on, uh, and like it was about a New York football team, um, and they were casting the leads here,
mhm,
and then the rest of everything else was being shot in Australia, and
okay,
then they were coming back here for 2 weeks to shoot out locations and things of that nature. So what that does is it all the other roles, all the like smaller roles in the background and local crew and all that stuff, that happens in Australia,
right,
which shouldn't happen, especially when it is about a New York football team.
sure,
So there's sure, I get it. Like if we're making The Lord of the Rings, it's an American-based production and we shoot in New Zealand. Fuck yeah, go the fuck over there because we don't have anything like that here. Um go there. That's the location. But if it's about like a New York football team that has a football stadium here, like
right. But
why are you
that
leaving?
is a state and federal issue that we need to deal with. It's
Yes,
not,
we need to deal with that.
we have to deal with that here. That doesn't equate to like, oh, let me tariff things. It should be like, okay, let me figure out how do we incentivize the movie industry to stay here. Threatening the movie industry doesn't do anything other than say Hollywood can be moved, by the way. It
Right.
can be moved outside the US because SAG is a worldwide union,
Yeah.
first of all. And casting directors, teamsters, they could all be found within those countries.
Yes.
You are taking away our jobs by
Yes.
doing by not trying to figure this out better on our soil.
Yes. Okay. So we are well over the hour
Oh God.
now. No, it's
Okay.
it's fine. I love it. I just don't want to, you know, take up too much of your
I'm fine
birthday.
with it. No,
But
we can
that's
chat
great.
for whatever.
So I have one more thing
Yeah.
which I ask everybody at the end.
Yeah.
Um and it's people that are operating at a high level in their particular field. What advice do you have for a new casting professional coming onto the scene now? Um, how do they break in when you don't have access to people? It's all virtual. There's no real place to go anymore to meet up in person um, as much. Um, how do they break in?
Yeah. I don't want to pretend like I think I know. To be quite honest, that I feel is disingenuous.
Sure.
Um, and the ways that I think, if you're not represented, it means paying money to like meet casting directors, and I outright refuse to say that. But like at the end of the day, like we are in a weird area, and I don't know, you know I just think do everything you can, like work on films, work on student films, work on college films, create your own stuff. And I know that's expensive, so like I realize I say that with a lot of privilege attached to whoever can create it.
Yeah.
I realize that that's costing. And if I do know that when you're studying in studios, like, whether it be Maggie Flanagan's studio or whatever, Kelly Kimball was a studio that we all worked at, or, those types of studios, that helps. But it's not easy. I mean, if you don't have an agent or manager, like the one place that we do find people is in classes, but that's asking an actor to pay for something. And I just refuse to tell them to do that. Like, but
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I will say that I met the whole town
yeah.
by paying, but they didn't cost as much then as they do now.
What do they cost? I've got to ask because again, I started like 20 years ago, so like things were like maybe $35
No, man. So like the cheapest is $95 now.
for a class, one single class.
One single class.
Wow.
For I've seen shit go up as high as $7,000, $8,000.
Just so you know, our pay as teachers not changed. My pay has never changed. And I mean, there are certain places that do pay differently, but I've never increased over like whatever they offered. I was like, yeah, okay, that's the cost of class. If they're charging you $100 a class to see me, I am not making that type of money
Yeah.
at all. And granted, I get as someone who's holding the classes, they also need to make money, but nowhere near that. No, nowhere near that.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a lot of stuff about people that say that they know exactly what you should be doing and that you should take these classes with this people, and they're advertising things as they are like a guru, and everyone's career is vastly different. Your way in, how you get in, why you get in, who you are. You literally are like a unicorn. Every single artist is their own thing. Nobody has the blueprint for your career. They only have this is what worked for someone else, which isn't you. So it's not possible for them to know. It's not. 0% of the time.
Yeah. And can I say one thing? I will say this. If you're going to go to a class, and I don't discourage that. I think you should go to them. I do think you should meet casting directors,
Mhm.
even when you want an agent, and not because agents aren't going to help you at some point, but and not that you shouldn't see them, but like that's not where I think you should be hopeful where you're going to meet somebody. Like meet casting directors. Casting directors, we will call you in if we like you, whether you have an agent or not. An agent will only sign you once you have
You're right.
a project or they're signing you outside of your graduating class.
Right.
And that is just traditionally how it happens. And I don't think you should ever go see a casting director one after the other. Like when someone comes into my class like 5 times, like, what are you doing here? You've met me. Like, please don't waste your money.
Hmm.
Please go meet somebody else. I've seen you. I know you. Unless we haven't seen each other and you want to do something different, spend your money somewhere else. Like I don't like don't like focus on me. Like I'm not. Don't do that. And I've had actors do that, and I'm like, stop. You've got to stop. I need you to stop doing this. This is a waste of your money. I've seen you. I know what you can do. You're already in my mind. Go meet somebody else.
Right.
Be cognizant of all of that, but that's important. If you're going to spend money, and I'm not telling you to spend the money, but if you're going to, be smart about it. That is my advice.
That's great advice. And I think that might be some of the best advice because, especially now, it's
Yeah.
harder than ever to meet people in the industry, and to put your focus on casting as an actor is the most important thing that you can do next to continuing your training and getting better and honing your skills, because like we've been talking about this entire time, we're both trying to do the same stuff. We're the right and the left hand. So, and you're not gonna, unless you're with like CAA or Gersh or one of these gigantic fucking things, which most of us aren't. Like most of us didn't go to Juilliard, we didn't go to NYU, we didn't go to Yale, we didn't go to these places, right? So how you get a leg up on these types of folks is you meet the people that are working. And it is an investment. And if you have the money to put out to invest in your career, as long as it is a price point that makes sense for you, do it
Yeah.
with a casting director. Yeah.
And different casting directors, like
Different casting directors.
diversify your portfolio.
Diversify your bonds. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Diversify them because it's okay too. Like because by the way, again, and we are also very different. We respond differently. We're working on different projects. You can be right for one project, but not for the other, and that's okay. You don't need to be right for everything. And again, knowing who you are as an actor, I think, is one of the most important things. And who is casting the things that will cast you. It's also very important. It's okay not to be right for my project this time. This project might not be right, but the next one will. So like wait to
Yeah,
wait.
but yeah, so Mia does not call me in for all of her projects. She calls me in for stuff that I'm right for, and it's been correct every time. So like, and that's a thing that I think actors need to understand in their heads too, is that like you're not going to get called in for every fucking thing that there is, because you may not fit it,
Yeah, and you just
that's
can't
okay.
go for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's not about being called in for every project that a person has. It's like, are you consistently being called in? What's the feedback that you've received? And that doesn't necessarily mean like they told you were good. Like, it's like, did they call you in again? Was there like a, hey, they offered this role to someone else, but we used your tape to get you this other role, which happened to me with you. So like, and that those are all signs that it's working. So just breathe and try to calm down. It's hard, but try.
It's hard. And by the way, my last thing I will say to you is that the biggest compliment you'll receive from a casting director is being called in multiple times.
Yeah.
Even when you're not cast. Because obviously we're working to cast you. We are hoping to cast you. We want to cast you. We are on your side. We are calling you in over and over and over again. That is of the highest compliment, even more so than getting cast, because that casting director is literally breaking their back trying to get you a job. That is, we are focused on it. We love you and we want to help you, but like, there is only so many roles, and there is a bunch of people behind you that are also auditioning for those roles who we also love. But you know, like the fact that you're coming in over and over and over again for us, it says a lot about you, and I think that should give you peace to some
To make you feel nice. Like you can't eat that or pay your rent with that, but it's something that will eventually do that for you. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Happy birthday. I'm going to pop you back into the lobby quick. I'll say bye to everybody, and then I'll officially say bye to you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for being here. This was an incredible conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and all of your comments and all of your attention. We ran a bit over. I hope that's okay. I had a great time. Yeah, until the next one, I'm doing like every other week now. In like August, September, I'll be back to every week. So I'll see you in about 2 weeks. Thanks for watching the live stream live, and I'll see you soon. Have a beautiful rest of your evening, afternoon, or morning, or in the future time. All right, bye. Ending the stream.